Welcome back, fellow Dream Warriors, to Riderpiece Theater. Me, Alistair Dayhawk, and tonight, me proud to present Kamen Rider Zeztz, episode 13. So the episode begins after, Nox defeated the evil nightmare that was locked inside the barrier capsule, and Nox offers Baku another chance. If you want these bad nightmares to end, just drop the driver and just wake up from these nightmares. But typical Baku, typical protagonist fashion, Baku says, hell no. I have a mission to complete, which is, stop Armageddon from happening. And in response, Nox erase, what remains of Baku's capsiums, and the space center gets destroyed by the meteors. And Nox disappears, and, you see, the devastation of the meteor, with the wreckage of all the space center and stuff. And we go to the next scene after the opening credits. You see the ever stunned Baku, the Dream Warrior, is just standing there, surveying the destruction, and let's call it what it is, guys. And Baku got his ass kicked by a fellow agent. And Baku is just stunned, not just because of just what happened, but also just realizing that, hey, you're not the invincible agent that you dreamed. Because he realized, and he even said it, that, hey, there's someone better than me. And you see him just like, just forming a fist, being frustrated, being angry at himself for, one, not preventing the meteor destroying the space center, but also, getting his ass kicked by Nox, which causes him to really self-doubt himself. Like, you see him doubting himself before, but in this episode, Baku is really questioning his self-worth as an agent. And I have to say this too, guys, before I move forward. Zero is becoming a Decepticon. Zero is a piece of shit. There, I said it. Because after watching this episode, I'm like, Zero, you're supposed to be the mentor of Baku. Like, you're supposed to help him, guide him. But throughout this episode, for the most part, you're like, oh, I can't believe I put so much hope and faith into you, and you're just, down in the dumps, which we will talk about later. But I'm like, Zero, what kind of mentor are you? And also the way you responded with Minami at the end of this episode, I'm like, dude, like, you're acting more like a Decepticon than an Autobot here. Like, what's going on here? And it just begs the question, is it gonna be like what happened at Saber when after Toma defeated the first big bad, the second arc was all about the writers going against Toma because of another organization is telling them, hey, Toma is a bad person, even though he defeated the first big bad, and one just caused division between inside the Saber organization. Is Yuya trying to recreate that? I honestly don't know, but something tells me it's the whole typical, okay, Code is a spy organization that's supposed to be a good organization, but there's corruption within this said organization, and yeah, it's going to cause division between the good people, the good agents versus the bad ones. And like, okay, this is what it's starting to feel like it's leading towards once we get the whole Nox saga out of the way, and then, heading into what code is and whatnot. But in any case, I'm just babbling now. So, Baku, after the opening credits, is stunned, got his ass whooped, and realized there's always somebody better than him, and he wakes up, and, we go to Mulder and Scully in the spy room, and they watch the news of the space station, getting destroyed by an unknown meteor, which, there's a crater, but there's no space rock there. And then you see Baku, sitting as if like someone, killed his dog. He's just like sitting there as a ball, and Mulder is like asking questions like, have you discovered who the dreamer is yet? And Baku's like, no. And have you have any more clues have you gathered any more clues leading up to, the discovery of who the dreamer might be? And Baku's like, no. And it leads to another argument between Mulder and Baku. And Baku is like turning around and telling Mulder, look, I failed in my mission because of your ex-agent, Otaka. And this is where Mulder just grabs him by the collar, pins him against the wall, and tells him, do not slander my old partner like that. He will never do this. He will never side with the enemy. Don't you dare slander him. It's almost like he was almost about to pull a Will Smith. Like, take his name out of your mouth, Baku. And then Scully is in the middle. It's like, boss, come on. No. You can't do this. No, stop it. And so Mulder just lets him go, and he just like, you know what? It looks like you've given up or something, and let's just call it quits here. Let's just, let's end this alliance and just go on our separate ways. And, Mulder is offering his hand, but of course Baku's not accepting that hand. And then Mulder takes Baku's hand, shakes it, and then before he completely leaves the spy room, he just takes his, little sign from the light post and takes it with him. And then Scully just like, oh man, like, I don't know what I'm witnessing here. And you could tell that Scully wants to, comfort Baku, because Baku is really devastated for what happened. And, after, that wake-up call. But Scully, followed Mulder outside, his Baku's window. And, Baku is devastated as a ball. And then we go to the next scene with the continuation with Mulder and Scully. And apparently Mulder's plan now, because he sees no other options, is to find a way to infiltrate people's dreams in order to stop Armageddon from happening. Because remember, they only have 24 hours until Armageddon, wipes mankind out. But Scully was like, look, how are you going to find a way to infiltrate people's dreams in 24 hours? How in the hell are you going to pull that off? And Scully offered the next possible option. I mean, it's better than the nearly impossible, hey, I will have the ability of, infiltrating people's dreams. I just need to find someone who could teach me. Scully assumes that maybe it's a better option is to find Otaka better. And, and Scully offers, hey, since Otaka sold those paintings, it could leave a paper trail leading back to him and his location, which Mulder says, you know what, maybe that's a better way than, finding a way to invade people's dreams in 24 hours. So, yeah, so that's their plan right now. And then we go to the next scene where I was talking to you about Zero and being the douchebag mentor. Instead of Zero, trying to give him wisdom to lift Baku up from his state of despair, he just like, oh, so it looks like you're giving up on dreams, huh? It looks like I just, placed in so much faith in you that it seems to be misplaced, and he just walks away. I'm like, Zero, come on. I'm like, you are a douchebag for doing that. What kind of mentor are you? Like, you could have just at least told Baku, look, yes, you got your ass kicked, okay, but you still have time. You still have a day left before the meteor hits. Get yourself up and go look for the dreamer. You still have time. I still have faith in you. Don't give up on yourself. I haven't given up on you, at least not yet. But in this case, Zero what appears has given up on him. And then Baku all of a sudden gets a phone call from Seiya, which leads to the next scene. Baku meets the boy at a park, and Seiya thanks Baku for the pep talk yesterday, or in this case last week, for the positive talk, and he says, because of you, I love space more, and I will do what I can to achieve my dream of becoming an astronaut, which causes Baku to smile a little bit, which leads Seiya to asking Baku, okay, I told you my dream, what's your dream? So Baku responds with, ever since I was a kid, I grew up watching spy movies, and that led me to want to become a secret agent when I grow up. But as of right now, things are not working out for me. That's what he says. But Seiya says, well, you still love it, don't you? Then you must have the best talent to be an agent out of everyone, which causes Baku to smile a little bit more. And this is where we immediately go to the next scene with Baku and Seiya, walking the little kid home. And Seiya's like, it's okay, you don't have to walk me home. I mean, you could go on. And Baku says, no, I will see to it that you will go home, not alone, right? And this is where the boy says, well, this is my home. And Baku realizes that, it's not only Seiya's home, but also apparently it's a restaurant shop, and it's closed down for a moment because the boy's father is sick. And Baku was like, so you're also suffering at hard times as well. And Seiya says, as of right now, money is a little bit tight now because of my dad having health issues, so we're getting by. And then we go to the next scene with Baku, who meets up with his sister Minami, and this brought this on. Like, he tells her that I will become, a big brother that, she could rely on, which causes Minami to have a flashback between her and Zero, and this is where she's like, all right, just don't work too hard and put yourself into danger. And Baku's like, yeah, I promise. And so we go to the next scene with Baku entering Dreamland. And this is where, after greeting Nem, this is where he starts to connect the dots of where the mind doors are. Because remember, last week, Baku assumes that the mind doors were in the Space Center, but it wasn't the case. So he started to connect the dots. Seiya wants to become an astronaut, but he knows that it will cost him money. The problem is that his parents are having money problems, so he decides to stop, which leads Baku and Nem to Saya's house. When he opened the door, lo and behold, 2 out of the 3 doors were open. You see all the chains, and Baku peeks through the final door, realizing that, hey, I think I know what the nightmare is. It's the meteor itself. And then we see a cutscene of, this giant space rock turning into, not really turning into, but just adding teeth, eyes, and some weird looking, things that look like arms. So yeah, the nightmare is apparently the meteor itself. And we go to the next scene. Baku enters his spy room, and with a clear mind, and he now knows that because of Nox's words, he couldn't get any capsiums. Now with a clear mind, Baku goes to the capsum machine and gets a new capsum of the day. So, as the nightmare meteor is fast approaching Earth, you see Nox, and he's like, come on, dude. I gave you the ass-kicking of a lifetime, and yet you're still coming back for more. Why? But, of course, Baku says, I have a mission to complete. I will protect Saya's dreams, so try and stop me if you can. And so we get to see Nox transforming into Nox Knight, Baku using his new capsum and he turns into Zeztz Gravity. We have a bit of an exchange of weapons to exchange of words until finally he defeats Nox using the power of gravity. And then he turns his attention to the meteor nightmare, which he immediately destroys it by creating a black hole. So as you see, a pile of rocks getting sucked into the black hole, apparently Baku gets sucked right after it. So after he banishes the nightmare, you see this black hole sucking in all that rock and debris. And then, we see Baku saying his final words, if you will, to Saya, saying that keep fighting for your dreams because someday it will come true. And then all of a sudden he gets sucked into a black hole. And then we get to the final 2 scenes of the episode where Nox and Zero have this face-off. And Zero refers to Nox as Agent 4, and Nox responds with, is this all what you expected? And Zero responds with, well, the mission has been complete. Humanity is protected, is safe again, so it's fine. And Nox adds, well, so you gladly sacrifice agents in order to achieve your aims. Your organization remains rotten to the core. And Zero responds with, if that's what you wish, that you believe that that code is a corrupt organization, then go ahead, believe what you wish. And then Nox shoots at Zero, and Zero blocks the attack, and he disappears in the mist. And then we get to the final scene with Saya. He found a new he's determined now more than ever to achieve his dreams. And then we get to Baku turning into Sleeping Beauty, which leaves Minami to be all worried again. And she goes inside the spy room and demand Zero, okay, what the hell is happening right now? My brother is sleeping beauty in his room. He cannot wake up. What the hell is going on? Which causes Zero to ask Minami this. I know what's happening. He is dealing with his biggest nightmare yet. Before I go any further, I have to ask you, if I continue to tell you what's going on, you have to promise me not to speak a word of this to anybody. If you do, then I will have to kill you. Or the PG way of saying it is, I will have to dispose of you if you go on to the outside world and blabber. And Minami, you gotta give Minami more credit. She's not scared. She's like, standing firm and be like, yeah, I promise I'm not gonna tell a soul. Because normally, if it was any other, heroine, they will be like, I don't know about this. But Minami is a brave girl. I could tell you that right now. And so you can tell that she is shaking her head like, yeah. And if it means, saving my big brother, then, go ahead. Lay it on me. What is this big secret? And I won't tell a soul. And that's how the episode ends. Again, Zero is acting fishy. He's acting very heelish. Because in the beginning of the episode, it looked like Zero was giving up on his agent. He didn't do anything but, be like, well, it looks like I put too many cookies into one basket, and whatnot. And then he talks to Knox as if, hey, the mission is complete. Like, Knox is like, did you see one of your agents getting sucked into a black hole? And Zero is like, well, I mean, humanity is safe. The mission is complete, so why should I care? And then with Minami, it's like, okay, if I tell you, our secrets, I had to force you to promise that, hey, you can't tell anybody about this. If you do, I'll have to kill you. So what would Baku think that, just imagine if Minami accidentally, say something to Baku or anybody else, and then all of a sudden Minami disappears, and then Baku discovers that it was Zero who was behind Minami's quote-unquote disappearance. What would he think of Zero then? And it all leads back to the Christmas episode, guys. I don't know. Now it's leading towards Minami that she's going to be temporarily killed off. I don't know. It leads up to that, but man, Zero, you're acting very slimy in this episode. And once Baku finds out, ooh, that's going to be hell to pay. And what I like about this episode, guys, is that you see our main protagonist feeling vulnerable. You feel like he is self-doubting his self-worth of being an agent, being a hero. And he's like, I'm just a civilian. Like, I got my ass kicked by a professional. But, that's what I like about these types of heroes, because they make you feel relatable to them. They're human beings compared to, I don't know, Ace. Ace doesn't feel like he is a human being at all, because he appears to be perfect. Like, you don't see him being that vulnerable, just like Baku is feeling right now. But, I like how, Baku's character is allowed to be feeling vulnerable, questioning his self-worth until the very end, where he realizes that, hey, I'm still a hero, I have a job to do. And listening to this kid who says, thanks to you, my love for space has grown, and he's just like, hey, you know what? I may have failed right now, but I'm just gonna get myself up and continue on the mission. And lo and behold, he completed the mission, but ends up getting sucked into a black hole. And now Minami is stuck in the middle because now she's gonna be giving, secret information from Zero, and if she spills the beans, then she's gonna get killed off temporarily. And then Nox, it just proves, like, I'm interested in what Nox knows about code and Zero and whatnot, because everything what Nox is saying is just like, wait a minute, is Nox right? Is code a corrupt organization? Because look how Zero is acting right now. I'm just saying. And then with Mulder and Scully, of course, they're going to be, returning to Baku's window and be like, I'm sorry that I was a douchebag, but when it comes to my former partner, I just refuse to believe that he is a bad man. Like, he has his own reasons. I just need to find him and whatnot. But, Mulder and Scully and Baku will get back together. It's just temporarily. And we have 2 weeks away until the Christmas episode. Who's gonna die, guys? Write in the comments below. Who do you think is gonna die on that Christmas special? Is it Minami? Is it Mulder? I mean, it can't be Nox, because we just saw that link opening. Him dressed in all black and whatnot, and the mysterious woman in the black suit. Is it Zero? I don't think it's gonna be Zero, but I don't know. Part of me wants Zero to die, because you're acting very slimy. So yeah. In any case, my runner-ups will be Mulder and Minami. But guys, give me your thoughts and opinions about this episode. Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Did I miss anything? Even though I have my notes in front of me, I may have missed a couple of things here and there. And please write in the comments below your thoughts of who is going to die in Yuya's traditional Christmas episode. I'm very curious. And also, do you think that in the second arc, they're going to use what they did for Saber after defeating the first big bad of the organization turning against the main character? Because to me, the Saber second arc, it's just, I don't know. I feel like it's going to happen here. So, in any case, thank you so much for listening. Give a like if you like it, and please subscribe. And I'll see you all on the other side of Oblivion. Johnny!